Right friends, welcome back to New City Glance for 43rd week. This is from 24th October to 30th October, and all of you are familiar with debit card data breach because of malware in ATMs as well as POS terminals. 3.2 million debit cards were compromised. We learnt about it last week, and in this connection now the central government is contemplating Cyber Security Research and Development Fund at a cost of rupees 1000 crore, and it is going to be administered by the high level committee headed by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Look into the next one. The Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for Urja Ganga project in Varanasi city. You may ask, what is the meaning of this Urja Ganga project? This is basically giving piped natural gas connection to the households in Varanasi city. And he also laid foundation stone for doubling and electrification of Varanasi-Allahabad railway track. This is one aspect. And other aspect, please don't forget, recently Union Cabinet cleared gas pipeline project from Jagdishpur to Haldia and a spur from Bokaro to Damra, and it is expected to benefit the eastern part of the country with the gas grid. And at the same time, 3 fertilizer plants are also going to be revived. They are Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh, as well as Barauni in Bihar and Sindri in Jharkhand. So these things we learnt last week, please don't forget. Look into the next one. Supreme Court appointed an independent auditor to monitor the financial bids of BCCI. Here 3 photos I have given here. Please go through them. Justice R.M. Lodha committee is monitoring the working of BCCI. That is one point. The other point is Anurag Thakur is the president of BCCI, and Shashank Manohar is the chairman of International Cricket Council. And all the financial bids will be looked at by independent auditor. This assumed a lot of significance because next year BCCI is going to sell media rights, which may cost billions of dollars. And at the same time, another point I would like to tell you, R.M. Lodha committee is looking at Medical Council of India also. So if someone talks about R.M. Lodha committee, it is the overseeing committee for Medical Council of India, and at the same time it is looking at the functioning of BCCI. Supreme Court recently asked the Reserve Bank of India, what is wrong in naming the details of the defaulters? Because 57 defaulters defaulted 85,000 crores of rupees to the banks. And what is wrong in making those names known to the common man of this country? That is the question of the Supreme Court to Reserve Bank of India. Then now postal ballots to an eligible voter can be in electronic form. Election Commission recently issued a notification that returning officer in any constituency can send postal ballots to an eligible voter in electronic form. So postal ballots, you may ask a pertinent question, why do they require? Postal ballots are required because of the reason some people may be engaged in some official duty that day, and our armed forces are protecting the borders, and they cannot get a leave for attending and casting the vote. That's why this postal ballot system is required. And from now onwards, postal ballots can be in electronic form. Look into the next one. Paul Beatty for his novel The Sellout. If someone talks about The Sellout, that is written by Paul Beatty, and he became the first United States of America's author to win the Man Booker Prize, which has got 50,000 pounds value. And this is the 3rd year. The prize is opened to writers of any nationality, and his 3 previous novels include Slumberland, Tough, and The White Boy Shuffle. And if someone talks about Paul Beatty, he is the author of Man Booker Prize. That is one aspect, and his book is The Sellout. And Initially, 6 authors were shortlisted, and out of 6 authors, this Paul Betty's book, The Sellout, became the winner to win £50,000 prize. And all the shortlisted authors will get £2,500 and a specially bound edition of their book. Look into the next one. Gambia says that it will pull out of the International Criminal Court. You may ask, where is International Criminal Court? International Criminal Court is headquartered in The Hague, Netherlands. That is one part, and it was established based on the Rome Statute. And the Rome Statute is ratified by 123 countries, and this was established in 2002. And here the important aspect is, during the court's 14-year history, it has only brought cases from Africans. That means only Africans were charged for crimes. And you may ask, what is the mandate given to International Criminal Court? International Criminal Court was vested with the powers to take up the persons associated with the genocide. Genocide means purposefully eliminating one particular tribe or one particular race. So genocide, then crimes against humanity and war crimes. But unfortunate aspect is, ICC is behind African people. They have not touched the people from Europe or North America. So that's why one country after the other announcing that they are pulling out of ICC. South Africa, Burundi, then now Gambia, they said that they will pull out of this International Criminal Court. Look into the next one. Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Harshvardhan launched Biotech Kisan. You may ask, what is Kisan? Kisan stands for Krishi Innovation Science Application Network. Basically, fellowships will be given to women farmers for training and education in farm practices. And it will be implemented in 15 agro-climatic zones in the country. 2 Yazidi women. Yazidis faced the brutalities of Islamic State. The inhuman treatment meted out by Islamic State on Yazidis cannot be forgotten. And 2 Yazidis women got this Sakharov Prize for Human Rights. And Andrei Sakharov, he belongs to Soviet Union. He was a Soviet dissident, that is one part. And if someone talks about Sakharov Prize for Human Rights, this is instituted by European Union, most important point. Look into the next one. A Dil Hai Mushkil, directed by Karan Johar. This is in the news recently because it featured Pakistani artists. And Producers Guild stated that the filmmakers would not work with the Pakistani artists from now onwards. A consortium of 19 public sector banks is looking at converting its loans worth rupees 10,000 crore to Air India into equity. All of you should not forget S4A. S4A means a scheme for sustainable structuring of stressed assets. Here, the debt portion can be bifurcated into sustainable debt and unsustainable debt. And Air India has taken loans to the tune of thousands of crores from the consortium of banks. I have listed out here some of the banks which forms the consortium which lent money to Air India, and now under S4A this will be bifurcated into sustainable debt and unsustainable debt. This is the basic principle behind S4A. Look into the next one. Panama signed Multilateral Convention on Mutual Administrative Assistance in Tax Matters. And all of you are familiar with the Panama Papers. Panama is one of the tax havens in the world, and it is a good sign that Panama signed this convention. And as per this convention, sharing of foreign taxpayer details with other governments becomes easy. And it is a positive step from tax haven like Panama. And this convention was signed by Panama, and Panama became 105th country. Look into the next one. terror attack at a police training academy at Quetta, Balochistan left at least 60 people dead. Common man in Pakistan is suffering because of the reason on one side it is encouraging cross-border terrorism and it is becoming a victim because of giving more support to terrorists. So terrorism cannot be good or bad. Terrorism is always terrorism. Look into the next one. The center has notified the rules for Real Estate Act. And all of you are familiar with the Real Estate Act. As per the Real Estate Act, real estate regulatory authorities are to be established in states, and now center notified for 5 union territories, because the 5 union territories are directly governed by the center, so as to bring transparency and ensure timely completion of projects, this Real Estate Act is felt necessary. Rashtriya Ekta Divas. This is the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's birth anniversary was observed as Rashtriya Ekta Divas. And the Prime Minister also launched a website Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat. And this year the theme is Integration of India, very important. This year's theme for Rashtriya Ekta Divas is Integration of India, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the Iron Man of India, is the man behind integration of princely states with Indian Union. And he was the first Home Minister of the country, and he was born in Gujarat in the year 1875 on October 31. And at the same time, please don't forget 2 important aspects. One is we are celebrating birth centenary of 2 famous personalities. One is Deen Dayal Upadhyay. He was born in Uttar Pradesh, and the other one is Nanaji Deshmukh. He was born in Maharashtra. So central government is observing birth centenary of these 2 personalities, Deen Dayal Upadhyay and Nanaji Deshmukh, and at the same time Rashtriya Ekta Divas falls on the birth anniversary date of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. One-man judicial committee gave its report on one rank, one pension, that is L. Narasimha Reddy Committee. Look into the next one. During Diwali festival season, there was online campaign urging Indian consumers to boycott Chinese products and firecrackers. And the biggest worry for India is imports from China are around $62 billion. And exports to China are $9 billion. There is a trade gap of $53 billion between India and China. That is a worrying factor for India. And if you look at the total exports of India in a financial year, India's total exports are $260 billion, whereas the total exports of China are in the range of $2,300 billion. And please do not forget, the largest exporting nation is China. Maximum foreign direct investment flows into United States of America, and the country with the largest foreign exchange reserves is China. These things please do not forget. Look into the next one. Visit of United States Ambassador Richard Verma to Tawang. Tawang is in Arunachal Pradesh. And it created controversy. Why? China does not recognize India's sovereignty over Arunachal Pradesh. And Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India, and China does not recognize it. And Tawang is situated in Arunachal Pradesh. When US Ambassador to India, Richard Verma, visited Tawang, China raised concern, and at the same time Dalai Lama is going to visit Tawang in March 2017. Look into the next one. Government notified double taxation avoidance agreement between India and South Korea. After Mauritius, after Cyprus, now the turn of South Korea, basically to control tax avoidance. Under the guise of DTAA, several organizations are establishing their bases in countries like Mauritius, Cyprus, and ultimately they are resorting to tax avoidance. So as to reduce that, government is modifying double taxation avoidance agreement protocols with various countries. First with Mauritius, followed by Cyprus, now followed by South Korea. Look into the next one. Prime Minister celebrated Diwali with the soldiers of Indo-Tibetan Border Police. And you may ask, what is ITBP? ITBP was established in 1962. All of you don't forget, in 1962, India-China war took place, and at that time, to protect our borders with China, this Indo-Tibetan Border Police was established. And don't forget, in the year 2014, our Prime Minister spent Diwali with the soldiers at Siachen Glacier. And don't forget, Siachen Glacier is the world's highest battlefield. Look into the next one. First meeting of the National Committee on Trade Facilitation was held recently, and do not forget, India signed Trade Facilitation Agreement recently, and as per the Trade Facilitation Agreement and as per World Trade Organization guidelines, NCTF is mandatory. National Committee on Trade Facilitation is mandatory, and chairman is Cabinet Secretary, and the mandate under TFA include simplification of procedures. Procedures must be simple when trade to take place among the countries, reduction in time and cost, augmentation of infrastructure. At the same time, greater use of technology is also the need of the hour, and to look at these issues, each and every country is mandated to establish National Committee on Trade Facilitation. USA-based ATM manufacturer NCR Corporation got the single largest order for establishment of ATMs in the country from SBI. The order is 334 crores of rupees, and more than 7,000 ATMs will be established. And here, one important aspect is self-serve 22E ATMs are embedded with proprietary skimming protection solutions. Skimming is the biggest problem in ATMs. So as to reduce that, this new technology came, and this NCR Corporation is manufacturing ATMs fitted with self-serve 22E patented technology. Look into the next one. Jacob Zuma, he is the president of South Africa. Please look into this map. South Africa has got a coastline both towards Indian Ocean as well as Atlantic Ocean, and because of corruption allegations, Jacob Zuma is into the news in recent times. Legendary Kashmiri singer Raj Begum passed away recently. Padma Shri awardee, Nightingale of Kashmir, rendered thousands of songs for Radio Kashmir, and one of the most recognized female singers in Kashmir Valley. She is Raj Begum, died recently. Right friends, with this, let us conclude the news at a glance. Please do join for other modules. Have a nice day. Thank you.